Hey everybody, all the new EMP Shield sales are still ongoing. The link to get there and get the extra $50 off from clicking my link is in the description below the video. Hey everybody, before we get into today's video or live stream, I just wanted to tell you all about MyPatriotSupply. They have like so many products, it's crazy. I wouldn't be able to even do a whole video on it. But just to kind of give you a quick brief overview, I'll go ahead and play this short video clip and try to keep up with it as we go. So they have the emergency survival food. They have these special sales. They have a gift guide, and you can just all these different gift ideas down below. They have awesome solar generators. Every solar generator comes with a solar panel, so for outside charging. You've got most recommended survival gear, water purifiers, flashlights, candles, everything. Heirloom seeds, 70 plus varieties, all the different brands that they have here. Let me pause this here so I can go through the list. They've got Aqua Pure water filtration, Aquameyer off-grid hydration, Beyond Outdoor Meals, Franklin's Finest Survival Coffee. It's awesome coffee, really good. Grid Doctor Power Solutions, Instafire Unstoppable Flame and Heat, MyMedic First Aid Kits. Again, we mentioned the heirloom seeds. These are the Patriot Seed heirloom seeds, the Ready Hour food, and the Ready Hour gear. Over to the right is my QR code. If you use that code or click the link in the description below, you can get discounts when you make your purchases. Alrighty. Good morning, everybody. Thursday already. Where did the week go? What is today, the 13th already? Where'd the month go? Wow. So a couple things we're going to cover today. I didn't really get any videos or anything to show you guys today. Kind of going to give the video thing a break unless it's like really big stuff. I'll read the news. We'll have some conversation, talk about a few things. But one of the main things, this has been another like thing that's been irking me for quite a while. How many of you are getting inundated by robocallers that it's from a number that says that it's in your area code, and you go answer it, and you can tell from the background noise that it's coming from some kind of a call center, and then the voices on the other end are like, hello, and they start talking to you, and they're either from the Philippines, from Pakistan. I think I've even had a couple come from like Nigeria or something. But it's weird because I've been trying to look into this for quite a while, and it's like, how in the heck are they calling me from an area code that I haven't lived in for probably 2.5 years now? And the interesting thing is my roommate, he's got an area code from where the state that we just moved from in that area, and he's getting inundated with all these robocalls coming from that area code. It's like somehow their systems are set to spoof an area code, and a lot of times the number that they're using when you try to call it back, you get that dee-dee-dee. The number you're trying to call is not in service. We did one time call back one, and it was to a bank from the state that we used to live in, and it was a bank that neither of us had an account at. So they're like, no, we didn't try to call you. And so they're just grabbing numbers out of a pool, it seems like. There's quite a few people that are having this issue, but there's this guy out there on X named Brendan Carr. I don't know if any of you know him. I think he's with the FCC, but he says robocallers located abroad have been tricking Americans into picking up their phones by displaying U.S. area codes. But now the FCC is seeking comment on rules to prevent anyone, including a legitimate business with call centers abroad, from masking the caller's real country of origin. This is part of the FCC's broader effort to crack down on illegal robocalls. If our action here results in legitimate business deciding to onshore more of their operations, then that is a good and added benefit. To the comment before that, where they talked about legitimate businesses. So if these are legitimate businesses, then rather than spoofing an area code of where the phone number is coming from, they should put their real phone number and the country that they're calling from. So if it's a Verizon call center, you could say that the call is from Verizon and give the phone number that it's coming from, and if need be, like the country. But this other thing, a lot of from what I've seen, I've been like, who are you? Where are you calling from? And it seems like they're calling from places that want you to buy some kind of a service, and they're not legitimate businesses. If they are, then these legitimate U.S. businesses shouldn't be spoofing their numbers and having call centers on auto call calling everybody over and over in a list. It gets a little bit unnerving after a while when you're at one point I was getting 25 to 30 of these calls a day. My roommate was getting almost as many. I ended up having to get my phone number changed, and since I've changed my phone number, I haven't had an issue. Now, there are some people out there, and I'm looking on X, and some of these accounts, who knows if they're really from the United States or where they're from, but they're saying things like blocking legitimate businesses from doing this is a very bad idea. Why can't you find a technical solution? I think the iPhone has an option to silence unknown callers. I haven't found that option on my Android phone, and I've got a fairly new Android phone, so I don't know. But I mean, a lot of people in here are just inundated, and even some of these here are saying senior citizens are being harassed every few minutes with telemarketing robocalls that show a local phone number and even fake names displayed. I think that should be illegal, and they should be able to find out who these people are and get rid of them. So I don't know. What are y'all's thoughts on the robocalls? Any thoughts out there on what you think? Let me know, or tell me in the comments. Make sure. And speaking of which, please, if you're on and you're talking in the chat, leave a comment too, even just to say hi or put a wave up or something, and help me grow the channel. Share me out. Give me a thumbs up. Good morning, Qbot. How are you? But yeah, please leave comments. I think from what I understand, if you're leaving comments, it helps with the algorithm and gets you seen more. can't hear me. Why not? That's on. Let's double check and see if I even have. Well, my microphone seems to be working. Sound's going out. You're not hearing me at all? Let me try to open up the stream on my phone once and see if it's coming up. Let's see. Yeah, it's coming through on Rumble, Qbot. I can check IRL Media on as well. Is it just that I'm not very loud? I need to turn my microphone up, or yeah, I'm hearing it on YouTube and on Rumble. So I think the sound's working. I just listened on the stream. It's coming through. Okay, so yeah, let me know if it's just that I'm not loud enough, Qbot. Maybe I can crank up my microphone a little bit more. That might be what it is. Let me just double check the microphone part of it. And my microphone, I've got it set up to about 80% right now. Let me know if that's good or if it's too loud. I mean, if it's too loud, it's easier to turn it down. But if you got your sound cranked up all the way and you can't hear me, then that's an issue on my end. All right, let's move on here. So we already know the government shutdown is over. What are they saying here? The Dems shut down the government October 1st over ACA subsidies, but lost the battle after a 43-day crisis, longest ever. November 12th, Trump signs the bipartisan bill funding through January of 2026. And the interesting thing that I have been seeing about the government opening back up, well, there's actually a couple things. One of them we'll cover, but there's a lot of people screaming at the Democrats for caving and opening the government back up. These are the liberals outside of government, and they're screaming at the Democrats for caving to the Republicans. It's like either you want the government open or not. I mean, do these people do they want an operating country where everybody should be getting what they're supposed to be getting? Or do they just live off of chaos and fear? So I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on this, you guys? In my opinion, I think that there's some loony bins out there, and it's not just the loony bins in the Democrat side of our government. It's people out there they're out there. It's like either you want or you don't. The people that are legitimately supposed to be getting SNAP are getting it. I'm going to cover some other stuff here. We're just specifically dealing with SNAP. I'll get to that in a minute, but I wish I could keep my bookmarks and I could switch them and have them in an order, but unfortunately, I don't. So anyway, the other part of the government opening back up that I wanted to talk about. Now, this was a report coming out from Eric Doherty, and Tim Burchett went out and did like a little, it's a video clip here, and he's like, there it is. He says the Democrats blocked his motion to bring the Epstein files to immediate House floor vote. The Democrats blocked it. So here they are out there screaming, release the files, release the files. but then the Democrats are blocking it. As soon as the government opens back up, they're back to their stupid BS again. Okay, so Tim Burchett said he just made a motion. I don't know if the audio is playing here or not. No, it's not. I don't want it to play. It said he just made a motion to bring it straight to the daggum floor, and they blocked it. They freaking blocked it. I tried to do unanimous consent, tried to get the Epstein files, get it straight to the floor to cut out all this nonsense, and and the Democrats blocked it, oddly enough. Now, here they've had it for 4 years, and they obviously, if there was something there about Trump, they would have released it. The only thing that they tried to put through on there, which immediately, as soon as the government opened back up, they were going back to the whole thing about Trump being in the Epstein files, not and so much on a witness. Well, this happens to be Virginia Giuffre. Okay, now she's passed, and they had her name redacted out. But that what it came out to is that Epstein and another guy were actually thinking because Trump helped them, get Epstein, arrested for the whole underage stuff previous, and it was after Trump got him booted out of Mar-a-Lago. So apparently Epstein was angry about that, and him and another guy kind of got together and schemed to frame Trump. But maybe that's what this all stems from. But it came out, even Virginia Giuffre said that Trump was never there, and the only time she had dealings with him is when she worked for him at Mar-a-Lago, and that he was a perfect gentleman and a really nice guy. Okay, so what is it with the Democrats? They either want the Epstein files released or they don't. But they're gonna keep going out to the outside of it and throwing a bunch of nonsense BS out there. So I don't know. I think the Democrats have completely lost it. It doesn't matter if the Republicans are going to try to work with them or not. They always take a different trail and go off on a whole new tangent on something, and most of the time it's to try to set Trump up for something. So I don't know but that's pretty much all I want to say about that, because we know that the Democrats are just loony bins, and yeah, something's got to give there. All right, I am gonna pump up my volume a little bit more, guys. And if for whatever reason I'm too loud, then you can just adjust me down. We'll try to work it that way. Just give me a second here. I'm gonna open up my microphone settings. All right. I'm just going to crank this up to like 100%, and I'm probably going to be booming loud, but it might be better that you can just turn me down. But yeah, my microphone is like overmodulating from what I can see right now. Okay. Yeah, I just cranked it way up. So if I wasn't loud enough, everybody, I'm sorry. And I've had the setting the same. I haven't changed it, so I don't know what's going on. Okay, so we're gonna be for the Democrats for right now, especially with the Epstein stuff. That is enough for now. But in other news, real quick before we jump back to the United States, because we're going to talk about how this relates to the United States as well. So apparently Germany stops a Hamas cell that's armed with enough ammo to kill hundreds of people. So this happened in Berlin, and it says the Berlin cops didn't just nab a suspect, they tripped over a logistics chain. Borhan El-K, Lebanon-born and Hamas-aligned, was caught with an arsenal that looked more like Call of Duty than clandestine. An AK-47, 8 Glock, 600 rounds, no theory, no manifesto, but a lot of hardware just waiting for orders. The trail didn't stop in Germany. Danish police also hit link sites near Copenhagen, finding parts of the same cell. 1 second. And it says a network slipping weapons through Schengen like it was a long corridor. Prosecutors say the drop-off point was Berlin. The target's Jewish and Israeli. For a year, it's funny how they say Jewish and Israeli. Okay. I just always notice stuff on how they write things. Anyway, for years, talk of Hamas network in Europe was tabloid bait. This week it reads like evidence. And the quiet nightmare every intelligence agency is whispering about. You don't need an army, you just need a car, a borderless map, and a plan that almost works. So, here in the United States, and I've mentioned a lot of these places already, Dearborn, some things are happening already. From what I understand, there's some things happening in Houston, some arrests made in Houston. I haven't heard anything about Austin yet, or Dallas, Fort Worth, or Plano. I have heard some Plano in the news, but that has to do with a combination of voting and property that has been bought by Muslims through a not straight up above board way. So that's being looked into. But Sarah Adams and Apex have been screaming out loud on X and on other platforms for a while about these places where they have large populations in an area, not spread out, but like in an area, and where they're buying houses. And now, speaking of, with the houses and the properties, what they're doing in these areas. So, for example, like in Dearborn, and I believe in Plano, they're doing the same thing. They're putting a tax on the property where the tax, I forget what they call it. It's basically their Muslim tax. And that tax money is being taken off of there and being used to fund radical Islamists. So people were finding out about this tax, and they're like, no, we're not going to pay the tax. And it's like, well, you have to pay the tax if you want to buy the property. First question I have is, how can that be legal in the United States? Because that's part of their Sharia law. How can that even happen? I don't care if it's a Muslim that owns the property and is selling it. I don't care. But that should be illegal, number one. Number two, funneling this money out to radical Islamists. If it's out in the news and we're hearing about it through the news, what's the federal government doing about it? We can't have that going on, because what they're doing is they're funding terrorists that can eventually take and do something to us here in the United States. So, yeah, things are kind of, man, it's wonky. I'm just having a hard time fathoming some of this stuff, because it's out there, it's in the news, and if we know about it, then what's the federal government doing? Why aren't they saying anything about it? I mean, it's like these are not always the mainstream media that's putting this out. These are people that have press passes through the White House. They're like the new media, people like me and like Benny Johnson and those group, and even some just paper news people that are out there putting this stuff out. if they've got the information and they're getting wherever they're getting it from, or if they're doing some investigating, what's going on with our federal government and why haven't they brought it up? Why haven't they said anything? And why haven't they said, especially give notice to the American people about what's going on? We're supposed to be transparent. I think I need a drink of coffee. I think my problem is I drank too much coffee this morning. So, yeah, so now we're dealing with that. We got funding happening here in the United States that's illegal under Sharia law, because Sharia law is not supposed to be allowed to be going in the United States. And the money coming from these Sharia taxes are being used to fund terrorists, most likely here in the United States. So what's being done? We need to be questioning the government. At least, I mean, if there's something going on behind the scenes, you know how we know President Trump never tells what he's doing to give people a heads up that they need to go into hiding or take off. Maybe that's what's going on, and maybe that might be part of what some of these other things that are going on in Houston, for example. Anyway, moving on. California. They are admitting now that they illegally issued 17,000 non-domiciled commercial driver's license to, and then quote, dangerous foreign drivers. What they mean by that is these big rig truck drivers can't speak English, they can't read English, but they're out there on our highways. And if you've been paying attention to the news lately, there's been a lot of them that are involved in accidents, and a lot of innocent people have been killed by these guys. Okay? So Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says he's revoking all 17,000 of them. So hopefully, quickly here, we're going to see a lot less of these Indian and Mexican and whatever other countries that are here driving truck that can't speak or read English off the highways. Off the highways. So that'll be a good thing. I hope Secretary Duffy is able to get it done and get it done quickly. All right, next up. Let's see. Oh, this one here. This is with Snap. There's people out there that are thinking that what's going on with the SNAP program is that it might be a money laundering operation. And it's not just with SNAP. They're finding, I think I've got a thing in here today where you can group this with the Social Security stuff. Okay? So Secretary Brooke Rollins found 5,000 dead people that are getting SNAP, and 500,000 people getting SNAP twice under the same name. That's what they've just confirmed now. I know Elon was talking about the Doge. The Doge stuff is still, all that stuff is still ongoing in the investigations. So that stuff's still going. So SNAP, and they've also found the same thing going on with Social Security. So I think I have something up here with the Social Security. Man, I've got a lot of stuff to go through this morning. Yeah, so yeah, Elon, he says it's a giant money laundering scheme, and this is under Social Security. He said, we've uncovered so much fraud, it's hard to even decide what should be prosecuted first. He said at least 400,000 Social Security numbers have been identified, and that the person who stole the 400,000 Social Security numbers is going to be arrested this week. So we should see that in the news, okay? And then on corrupt NGOs feeding the political machine, these fake NGOs, he said, are mostly run by Democrats, and they're laundering billions of dollars. And he said sometimes they throw certain Republicans, I would say rhinos, a bone to keep them quiet. That's what they're finding when they follow the money trail. But he said basically it's a big giant money laundering scheme. All right. I don't know why I go back and it puts me back out of here. So let's see. I got to get moving on here because there is so much to cover real quick. I always cover something about the war between Russia and Ukraine because I feel that it's a war that doesn't need to be fought as a war anymore. We actually know what's going on over there. Why don't we send in legitimate UN troops and go ahead and take out the biolabs and take out all the illegal stuff and find all of the trafficked kids that are being hidden out in these underground places. But anyway, Zelensky's inner circle is caught stealing $100 million in U.S. taxpayer money. This came from a German news agency called Redacted News. It turns out that the Ukrainian dictator Zelensky and his inner circle are extremely corrupt. Who would have guessed, right? Didn't we all know that? And he says, all right, we predicted it years ago on this show. So did we predicted it way back at the beginning of when I came back up again. So the luxury cars they bought, the houses by the sea, we've been reporting on that for a long time, but now they're finding that not only is it like Zelensky and his wife that are getting this, but a lot of his inner circle. And the funny thing that I see that's going on right now, because Russia is supposedly hitting all of their power plants, okay? But it's funny, with some of the explosions that I've seen, these power plants should have been completely taken out, and they should have absolutely no electricity whatsoever in Ukraine at all. But through my sources, they've got electricity, but it's on a schedule. They don't keep to the schedule. So it's off for 16 hours, and then it's on for 8 hours, off for 16, so on and so forth. But what's happening apparently is Zelensky's inner circle, and maybe some of these guys that work for, I think it's called Adam or something. I can't even pronounce the name of their main power company. Excuse me. But apparently now there's like 2 or 3 of them at the top of this energy company that are being taken out of their positions, and they're being equivalent to what we call indicted here in the United States. And so they're out of position and they're not getting paid, but they're going to have to go to court and have a trial. But there's so much corruption going on in Ukraine right now. What Ukraine needs the very most is they need their puppet, Coke-nosed Zelensky, out of power, and they need a legitimate president in that country. So that's just my take on what's going on in Ukraine. My people on the ground are telling me that there's so much corruption, and it's not just how people are having their money stolen. Just for example, one of their largest banks there, I'm trying to remember, it's called, I'm trying to remember, I'll think of the name of the bank, but it's their largest bank. The former CEO of the bank apparently fled the country and embezzled like millions and millions of dollars. And and it's funny because so many Ukrainian people use that bank, and if they have over a certain amount of money in their bank, the bank is locking their accounts. So they're only allowed to make like 300 to 500 equivalent to 300 to 500 American dollars a month. I don't know what the Hivernia amount is, but that's what they're allowed to make, and it's pretty crazy. So that's enough on Ukraine. Talking about Ukraine really ticks me off a lot. because I see the corruption, I see all the crazy stuff that's going on over there, and it's not cool, and there's a lot of innocent people that are suffering. And it's getting to be winter time, and when they don't have their electric on, we're going to start seeing people freezing. Those that depend on the electric to run their electric heating units in their house. So there's going to be a lot of people suffering when the snow starts falling. All right, let's see. We're going to go back out to California. Apparently, so Politico broke a story a while ago about Newsome putting his then chief of staff on leave, but never mentioned what it was. But then it turns out that there was a criminal probe into Dana Williamson, and she was recently indicted on public corruption charges. She was interviewed by the FBI on Wednesday, and she was still considered working as Newsom's top aide. So this was in November of 2024, not November 2025. But then she left the governor's office in December of 2024, but Newsom's office basically just said that she was not even stepping down. They weren't even open about what the deal was. They covered up the part that she was under investigation, under criminal investigation. So more stuff coming out on old Gavin Newsom and how corrupt him and his cronies are. And then what was it? Nancy Pelosi's daughter or niece or somebody apparently wants to run for Nancy's position now that she left. All right. This one here is titled Cockroach Invasion. Apparently, nearly half of all Islamic immigrants in Minnesota are found to have committed immigration fraud, and that includes Ilhan Omar. So there's immigration fraud, marriage fraud, tax fraud, loan fraud, bribery, forgery, perjury, bigamy, and incest, just to name a few. So the big thing is how many of these people lied on their immigration paperwork, and as did Ilhan Omar. They added a year to her birth date so that she would appear a year younger when her parents came here for citizenship, so that way she would fall under them. So she's claiming that she's a U.S. citizen, but in all reality, she's not, because they lied about her age. So I think that's why Trump was saying that she would get deported. All right. Now, this next thing I'm going to talk about, I'm not citing anything medical. I'm not making any medical claims or health claims or anything like that. But y'all know about Tractor Supply. So this is put out here. This Tractor Supply is a gold mine for natural health supplements, but only for horses, not for humans. Okay? Like ivermectin is one. These absolutely all-natural horse supplements filled with supplements that humans should be taking are definitely not for humans. Okay? Only horses. So there's a lot of stuff there. I think I'm going to click this over so you guys can see this video. Give me just a moment to switch the camera over to screen sharing. I want you to be able to see the video. I'm going to start it over from the beginning with sound.
Egypt has been going back to Tractor Supply for the honest marketing of you-know-what. What I didn't mention about the MSM powder last time and it's 2 full pounds of it. MSM, selenium, and zinc are building blocks for glutathione, your master detox molecule. It's amazing. Nay, incredible. Now, if your mare or stallion has joint issues, this is 32 ounces of glucosamine hydrochloride and chondroitin, essential building blocks for cartilage, along with the sulfur from the MSM powder. But not only that, also zinc, manganese, and copper. Copper forms a collagen matrix in your skin, along with collagen peptides. Oh, and I've been told the absorbing is amazing. One minor correction, this is topical only. Now, I was excited about the absinthium oil, which is just wormwood. It's a trifecta. It's anti-inflammatory, anti-parasitic, and an antioxidant. Huh. Look, they're just way more honest when it comes to the marketing for animals. Wait, hold up. Look at that. This is gonna blow your mind. This is antimicrobial wound care, and it is just manuka honey and sulfur. So for all this, a horse would take 8 ounces. An average horse weighs about 1,000 pounds. You gotta think about weight. Right here. Mineral salt for $11.99. Look how big this thing is. Oh. Calcium, phosphorus, salt, magnesium, sulfur, potassium, iron, boron, copper, manganese, chromium, zinc. Boom. I think someone was talking about the blue bottle. Is that it? Alright. I should get out of here. I'm Braden Simons. I talk about natural remedies. See you next time. You did this to me. Going back.
All right. So let me get back over here. I hope you all caught the gist of that. The cool thing is it's going to be on permanent record now. You can actually go back and look at all of that again on YouTube, on this video, and on Rumble. Okay, and then tomorrow it'll automatically go up on BitChute. So I don't know if you guys have a BitChute account or not, but if you don't, I would go make a BitChute account. Go to bitchute.com, and then you can also subscribe to me over there, because I have a lot of the old IRL media videos up over there, ones that you might want to go back and take a look at from days gone by. All of my new videos that I'm doing now on YouTube, on this channel, on the IRL media channel, and if I do a live stream that's separate, or if I do a documentary on my Chill and Relax channel, which used to be called the Virax Network, but it's called Chill and Relax now. It's still under the same account. But I'll be releasing any of the short documentary things that I do, kind of like the woo-woo stuff and history. If you remember the campfire, lifting the veil stuff, that stuff will be on that channel, and that will automatically go to BitChute too. So BitChute will be the full collection of everything. And then the best of the best, if you have not gone to, write this down, realtube.stream, www.realtube, RealTube.stream. That is the main IRL media website now, and it's for on the web. It's basically what it is. It's a news website that has news articles that are archived. It has the best of the best videos, not just from IRL media, but from some of the other people out there that are putting out information that you need to know about. The nice thing is I don't have to upload these videos, most of them anyway, to the site. I can link to them, but you can watch them all right there. They're all linked right there. All of the articles are what I've put up and are co-written by a few other people that I repost for. There's also a forum. Now, the website itself is free. You don't even have to sign up just to watch the videos or to read articles. But if you want to access the forum, if you want to comment on videos, or if you want to comment on articles, or if you want to have your own blog, you have to sign up with an account, and then you can contact me if you want to set up your own blog, and then I can set you up with that account, and you'll have access to post all your own stuff that you want to post, and so on and so forth. But just recently, I had the website up now for probably about 3 years. When I first started out, some of the videos that were up, I had to refresh out, and now for the most part, I would say about 98% of the videos that are up there are going to probably stay there forever. And then I add at least 1 to 2 new ones a week, and usually about the same with articles. I put at least a new article or a couple of articles a week, but I'm putting up the stuff that's important, that has information in it that people just need to know. So www.realtube.stream. So I've basically been advertising it on my X account and on my True Social, and on some of the stuff on BitChute. And recently the website's been starting to explode. I go look and I've got people visiting and spending time watching the videos from all over the world. I mean, I've even had a few people from Japan, from the Netherlands, from Canada, from other places in South America. I think Brazil was mentioned or shown a few times up there. But now I'm actually getting a pretty good amount of hits. It's not huge, but I'm getting thousands of visitors a day to www.realtube.stream. Okay, so that's another thing that I have out there. Now, also, if you look in the description below the video, all of my links for any things that I have sponsorships for are listed down there, and all of the other social medias and other important places where you can link up. I even have a link there if you want to donate to PayPal right to the IRL media. You can do it there, or if you're techie enough and you want to use your phone, you can go right over here on the screen, and you can scan that QR code, and that takes you right to the PayPal. Okay, so let me get back over. I've got a few more things on the news to cover. Let's see. So this is big. All right, so you all know how when President Trump was campaigning for this term to become president again, and I think he might have mentioned it, I think he did. He mentioned it a few times during his first term, but he actually pushed for it on his second term, was seeking the death penalty for two things. People that are drug smugglers or that are selling drugs, drug dealers. Not the people using them, but it's the people that are dealing them, smuggling them, producing them, death penalty for them. And what we all voted for him for as the number one reason, the death penalty against people that do unmentionable things to children. Okay? So Florida is now seeking the death penalty against a man by the name of Nathan Holmberg, who they allege raped multiple little kids. So there's crimes against children where someone takes their innocence and childhood, in my opinion, deserve the ultimate form of justice. So that's coming. It's Florida. Florida is going to start, and I think that's going to pretty much hit every state. And I think it'll get at one point to any state that doesn't support that will probably have some kind of federal sanctions where they're not going to get as much funding. So But I think it won't matter when it becomes federal. I think if there's any crimes against children, that will be a federal offense. And if the state tries to hide it, they're going to be in big trouble. All right, so let's see. What are we looking at next? Okay, so some more stuff on the Epstein, but this one here, it's not really Epstein, but it's Epstein related, but it's an article that came out in the Daily Mail. So Representative Anna Paulina Luna posted that the Daily Mail just published the most absurd and bizarre article, quote, using my photo alongside a headline implying that I was a bikini-clad girl in Donald Trump's kitchen. She said, I'm curious whether I can sue for defamation over this. Using my photo and likeness is not only defamatory and blatantly untrue, it's wildly sexist. I have never been in Donald Trump's kitchen, and I have absolutely nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. This is clearly targeted reporting, as they did not mention any other members of House oversight. The smears against the president are beyond outrageous at this point, and I'm seeing firsthand how the press lies to the American people, unquote. So, an interesting caveat to this, excuse me, I think you all know who Kirill Dmitriev is now. He's one of President Putin's advisors. And he posted on here, he said the UK press will have to learn accountability and they need to correct this or face a winnable lawsuit. I had FT issue an apology in the High Court of London several years ago, and WP issued 2 correction in their last months. So this is even getting the attention of Kirill, and I think Kirill, because he had a meeting and he's been working on a few things with Anna Paulina Luna, and they're becoming friends, and he is actually sticking up for her. I think it's a pretty cool thing, and that just him responding and how he's I see him responding in a lot of things, and that also tells me that the United States and Russia are in a lot better relationship than a lot of people would lead you to believe. I believe for a long time, and it actually seeded it 100% for me when Putin handed Trump the soccer ball in Helsinki, Finland, that we became allies then. One moment. My throat gets very dry. I think when I get to talking too much, I'm going too long. So, November 12th, 2025, the U.S. is ending penny production after more than 230 years. A penny for your thoughts. What do you think about this? My first thought was, well, what about items that cost $5.98? Are they going to round it up? Then they're going to do everything in 5-cent increments, or what's going to happen? What do you guys think about that? I would definitely like to hear your thoughts on this one. Oh yeah, I'm going to jump back to Qbot on the chat. Sorry, I was in the other screen. Yeah, ivermectin is one, and fenbenzanol in combination with ivermectin has shown like spectacular results for what you mentioned there in chat. So if you have any friends that are suffering from that, I would try to get them where they can get the ivermectin and the fenbenzanol. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And let me just pop over. I haven't looked at Rumble chat in a little bit. And Rumble chat is slow this morning. Is there anybody on Rumble? I specifically brought it up so I could watch. All All right. Now, let's see. The pennies. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. What's going to happen with prices? Are they gonna down it to the nearest nickel? There's a rumor that they're even going to get rid of the nickel here in a few years. So everything is going to go in like on the lower end 10-cent increments. I was talking to a lady at the bank the other day when I was there, and she said, yeah, they had a memo saying that the penny's going away. There's a lot of places that are putting signs up to please have exact change because they're having a penny shortage. But the lady at the bank said that it's gonna be the same thing with the nickel, and then it's gonna be dimes. So that's gonna be interesting. I just wonder how. I mean, wouldn't it? I'm just thinking about this. Wouldn't it be interesting if the way that we're going right now with the gold and the silver and all that stuff, and with tariffs and what that's all leading to, what would it actually be like to have a cashless society? So for the most part, if it was all your basic needs like food, medical, heat, electricity, if all that stuff became free, and there is a way to make it free, okay? It's basically called free energy. 0 point energy. That's out there. It's there. We're just waiting for it to all. And I think they were just advertising the other day that petroleum is going to go away, that they're going to start making hydrogen cars. Because water is a renewable resource, and when you extract the hydrogen from the water, and then when the hydrogen burns and comes out as exhaust, it comes back out as water again. Wow. Okay. That's definitely renewable. So if they can make a hydrogen reactor-ish kind of thing safe, that would be pretty awesome. Okay, so no comments on the penny. And I believe, that was my final bit of news for the morning. So we've been going for almost an hour. All right. Any last comments from the chats? I'll give it like 12 seconds or so, 15. Hey, also, leave me a comment if there is any other stuff that you want me to cover. Let me just show you real quick on the opening screen here. Down here on the bottom, it says like your daily brew of news, mystery, and history. What all would you guys like to see me cover in the morning? Do you guys want to hear some crazy woo-woo stories? Any like new sightings of Bigfoot or Dogman or any kind of crazy cryptid stuff like that? I mean, that's all stuff that interests me. And you know, the thing is because we can absolutely prove right now that the Bigfoot Sabe are real. They did get DNA done on it, and the only known DNA from it that they could find when they did the nuclear DNA is the matriarchal or from the mother. It comes up as unknown who the paternal side would be, or from the father. And that leads, in my opinion, to one thing, that it's angelic And in this case, fallen angels, watchers. And if you go back to Genesis in the Bible, where they talked about the watchers and how they were on earth and they took women and they basically cohabitated with them, is the clean word, and they had children, men of renown, and the way that actually would be translated as giants. And we all know these Bigfoot, Sasquatch, are 7 to, and I've seen some people saying that they're like 13 to 14, 15 feet tall, but on average they're 7.5 to 8 foot. Okay, so that tells me that they're real. So real quick, there is a video that I put up over on, just another plug for RealTube, realtube.stream. I linked to a David Pilates video where he did what's called Bigfoot 101. I forget which issue or like which one it was, but the one that I linked to was the one that he linked to with Dr. Meldrum. She had collected a lot of samples from quite a few people all over the United States. David Pilates sent in DNA and other people. So they went through multiple different agencies and not telling them what the samples were or what they thought they were. They said, just tell us what you think it is. And every single one of them came back with, like I mentioned, a matriarchal DNA. This is nuclear DNA. This is like the deepest you can go. Matriarchal DNA came back as, believe it or not, a bear. Okay? But the patriarchal or the father, they don't know. So they found bear and human on the matriarchal side. Okay, but on the patriarchal or the father side, they got nothing. It came back as unknown. There's something there, but they don't have a record of it in their DNA records. Okay, so human and bear. So who would have thunk that humans and bears could kind of have DNA mixture? But then when you talk about, like, in my opinion, it's fallen angel DNA. That's why they don't have it on record, because nobody's ever got an angel to get DNA from, so that they have it in their record. That would tell me what it was. And somebody, now years ago, and I just want to mention this here before I close up for the day. Years ago, if you all remember, where Jesus was crucified, okay, and supposedly there was an earthquake and it cracked the mound, but after the centurion used the spear, the spear of destiny, stabbed Christ through the ribs and probably up into the heart, and the blood flowed, that blood went into the ground and it pooled in a certain location. They found that place. They actually got samples of the blood and they put it under the microscope, the dried blood flakes. But in order to see everything better, they add water, some distilled water to it, and then put a cover. And what happened is the blood reactivated, the blood cells became living again. Okay, so they did DNA testing on the blood, and they did get female DNA, mother DNA, from a woman in that region, which would be, if you know, in my opinion, it is Jesus, because it came back with female mother matriarchal DNA, but the patriarchal DNA came back unknown. Okay, and we all know who Jesus' father was, and that he was, and how he was born. Okay, he was born, his mother was a virgin. So that would be my last thought. As I always say, be aware of your surroundings, be safe out there, head on a swivel, know what's going on. If you don't pack yourself when you're out and about, be with somebody who does, whether you agree with it or not. The important thing is that you're safe. We want to see you come back every day and hang out and watch my ugly mug. So be safe out there, everybody. It doesn't matter if you're in the big city or the suburb or a little itty-bitty town out in the middle of nowhere. You never know where it's going to happen. You never know who you're going to run into, okay? The biggest, baddest boogeymans have showed up at the most remote places, all right? So, again, be safe. God bless every single one of you out there on the other side of this screen, and I will see you tomorrow morning, Friday, for another episode. Give me some ideas in the comments of some things that you would like me to cover. Any other things that you would like me to find stories about. Put it in the comments. If you're on Rumble, on YouTube, or on BitChute, please put it in the comments. Let me know. I read all the comments, everybody. I read all of them. So take care. Peace out. We'll see you tomorrow.